I've noticed that the book does not really define average very well because it's not an easy thing to define. As a matter of fact, if I ask you to define average, you deal with averages. When and where are there averages in the world? Jaden, shoot! Where have you heard the word average before?
Basketball stats?
Oh, okay, give me one.
LeBron averaged 30.
Okay, good old LeBron, everybody's favorite basketball player. Oh, LJ averaged. So what does that mean, Jaden?
The points from each game in the one when like balanced out maybe.
What does that tell you? What good is it for you to know that fact? I suppose you could say, let me help you out here, that on any given night you can expect LeBron to score 30 points. But does that mean LeBron's going to score 30 points? Not necessarily. He may score more and he may score less. But on average, on a typical night, he'll score that. What else do you see average? You guys see it on your report cards. Addie?
The average temperature.
The average temperature, that's kind of an interesting one. What do you suppose the average temperature in Chicago is? Let's talk about that. Chi-town. Speaking of Cubs. If you had to guess what the average temperature in Chicago was, what would you say? It's a little hard to do because we have 4 different seasons. Elijah?
About 75 degrees in the summer.
Okay, but that's in the summer. What about all year round? What's the yearly average? And here would be the thought process on what you're thinking here. What's probably the highest you're ever going to get? I mean, generally speaking, like 95. And then in the winter, the lowest you're probably going to get is,
Negative.
10 degrees.
well, negative is like it doesn't get negative very often. I would say probably more like 20 degrees. If you're going with a kind of a whatever low. The average would have to fall somewhere in between there. Now, do you think it'd be closer to 20, closer to 95, or directly in the middle? Do you think there's more warmer days or more colder days in your short lives going outside? We should look up that stat. I wonder what it would actually be there. Riley, what do you think?
I think the average temperature for Chicago might be around 50.
Okay, so we're just kind of splitting that difference, right? If you split that difference at 70, so half of 70 is what, about 35, so 35 to 20. You said about 50 degrees. Anybody think it's higher or lower than that? Ooh, Isabel says 40. I don't know. I think we're going to go ask Mr. Google and see if he tells us. Wait, how about this? Stand up if you think the temperature is going to be, average temperature is higher than 50 degrees. Oh, look at this, we're split. Sit down. Stand up if you think the average temperature is lower than 50. What is the average?
So we gotta know.
It may not tell us, but we'll check. It's thinking. Apparently it's not thinking very hard. There it is. 56. 56.8 degrees, which kind of makes sense. You're awful close with your 50 degree thing. Where else do we see average? Your grades, Kate?
For rain.
Okay, the rainfall, the average rain, usually they do it per month or per week or per whatever. So if you were to describe average, I mean, if you were talking to somebody who didn't understand, somebody who doesn't understand English, and you were trying to tell them what average is, Carol, how would you try to describe that to them? Julie, maybe you could save your heart and mind for art class. It's not bleeding through to my table, is it? Just check. Stuff doesn't come out through. Wait, Carol, what'd you say? Did everybody say what average? You gotta think they are. Elijah?
Like amounts a year, a certain amount of stuff.
Emily, what do you think? I'm not sure I can write all those ums in there, so.
I have another,
We have to move on so we can figure this out. You got anything?
the height, between the highest and the lowest.
Well, it's definitely always gonna be between the highs and the lows, but that doesn't mean it's not always gonna be exactly between the highs and the lows, so that's kind of one of the things there. It's just like, here's an example of that. I can guarantee you, you guys take some quizzes for me every day. Okay, pretty much everybody bombs a quiz once in a while and gets the 60, okay? And pretty much everybody at least aces at one time and gets 100. But I can tell you, okay, if you split the difference between that, it's 80. Most of you end up with a better than a C in my class, so your average is better than splitting the difference between the high and the low. Average, Brianna?
Like, it's almost the same, and, like year round.
I don't know, I'm just gonna go with the year. It's kind of like your typical or expected. You could think middle, but it's not always the middle. I mean, if you get a B in math for the quarter, that means generally on your quizzes and tests, you get Bs. Okay, but you also probably get some A's and you probably get some C's, and those balance out to give you those B's, but that's kind of in the middle. Now, the book likes you to think about this. It's also something in making equal groups. Think about it this way too a little bit. Equal groups. Because they will say this. Let's say you've got a stack of 3 coins here, a stack of 4 coins here, and a stack of 2 coins here. Okay. What average means in this case, okay, what average is moving these around so you have equal stacks. And I should have drawn them as separate little things there, but what could I do to move those around? Well, I take one off of the really tall one and I move it over here. Can I move it over here? I can with this little fine over here. And now I have 3 equal stacks of, what is the average? What do you see, the average each stack? Average equals 3. Now we don't have to draw all that out or do all that. Okay, we just have to know, how do we find average? How do you find average? How to find average. Let's say you've got stacks that have 8 in them, and then another stack that has 7 in it, and then a stack that has 9 in it, and a stack that has 4 in it. And you want to know what the average is. You don't want to have to draw 8 things, 7 things, 9 things, 4 things, and keep shifting them around so you get equal stacks. You want to find how to find average, which is a pretty simple little process in that you do what, Elijah?
You add all 4 numbers and then divide.
Exactly, so write that down. In order to find average, you add all numbers, then divide by how many numbers you added. How many numbers you added. Add all numbers, then divide by however numbers you added. So we've got this right here, we got 8, 7, 9, and 4. You're going to take 8, add 7, add 9, add 4, get that total, and then how many numbers did you add together? 4, so you're going to divide by that. 8 plus 7 is 15, plus 9 is 24. 8 plus 7 is 15, plus 9 is 24, plus 4 is 28. If I take 28 and divide it by 4, I get 7. 7 is my average. Okay, that meant if I made stacks of these, I would get 7 in each stack, and I would get that grand total. I can tell you mesmerized by that. The other thing you have to be careful for, and please listen to this, because this, I know you run across it and people don't seem to get this here. You find average when the book asks you if you're looking when you are looking for numbers halfway between numbers. Between. That's average. I'll show you what I mean by that. That means if I asked you what number is halfway between 6 and 10, question mark, question mark. That is the same thing as asking what the average is. And let's look at that on a number line. Here's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What number falls halfway between 6 and 10? Right here. If you find the average of 10 and 6, you add 10 plus 6, you get 16. Divide by 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8. How many of you knew what number was halfway between 6 and 10 before I said that? Yes, this is a case of yes. When it's easy, you can probably do it in your head. But if I asked you what number is halfway between 35 and 276, 35 and 276, actually let's go 277, just to make my life easier. How many know that? Jaden, come on, quickly. What's our numbers halfway between there? You're trying to do the math in your head now, aren't you? So same thing, you need to take 277 and add 35 to it. 12, 10, 11, 1, 2, 3. Take 312 and cut it in half. You're going to get 1, 5, 6. 156 is halfway between those two numbers, which is also the average of it. Mesmerized again?
Woo!